Don't you ever wonder where your trash ends up? The trash that makes its way into a rubbish bin ends up in a waste disposal plant, where it is sorted and later transported into a landfill. Here it sits forever, taking up space. Then there is litter, left behind by people who couldn't take the time to throw it away. From the ground, it travels by wind out to the sea. Out of sight, out of mind is the common misconception when it comes to waste disposal throughout the world. However, eventually you do in fact see the trash again. Littering is a big problem in Hong Kong due to our mountainous terrain. Any trash left on the side of the roads will be swept up in the rain and taken out to sea. Not only is oceanic littering an eyesore, but it also has serious repercussions in the environment, especially when it comes to marine wildlife, like the pink dolphin, who mistake drifting litter for seaweed and other sources of food. The cycle of litter continues as the tide brings in the trash back to the land. This leads to trash washing up all over the beach, including broken glass and bottles. For this reason, there is a serious problem with the amount of trash found on beaches. So much so that cleanup groups regularly take the time to remove the litter from the beach. One such group, from the Church of All Nations Youth Group, goes out about 3 times a year in order to help out the environment in the way that they can.
There's been several times in our youth group has come to the beach and there's been trash all over the place.
Biggest pet peeve of mine is dirty beaches.
It's just terrible. It's a really terrible thing how people just leave their trash all over this beach.
The amount of trash washing up on shore has increased in the past few years. For this reason, the government has decided to increase the number of crews sent to clean up the beaches. Volunteer groups like the CAN Youth help the government to keep the beaches clean. When the groups collect litter, they usually come across bottles and cans, but sometimes a few strange items drift up to shore. When students start to see problems in their area and work to fix them, you know that the awareness in the town has been enforced in their education. For this reason, we interviewed Dee Mulligan, the environmental science teacher at Hong Kong International School.
Teaching people about waste disposal is one thing. Actually getting them to buy into it and take it on as a personal habit is another matter. I think there's been lots of education about the importance of not putting your waste on the ground or picking up a table after yourself, just because from an aesthetic point of view. Let's say our world looks a lot different if we just leave our trash laying around. It's less pleasing. We feel stress because we're in a dirty environment versus feeling a bit more relaxed because we're in an aesthetically pleasing environment. There's actually been a lot of work done recently about the value, or is there a dollar value for things to have trees or natural habitat versus cemented structures with no greenery and garbage laying around, things like that. So it's a matter of habit, right? I think also people's viewpoint for trash is cultural conditioning. Besides education, for example, some people think when they take a wrapper off of a candy or something and they just drop it, that it's gone, that because it's gone, it's no longer trash, it's nothing, they don't see it anymore. And the idea with any resource that we use is that we're just putting it somewhere else, whether we're putting it into a garbage can that then goes to a landfill. That connection from the garbage can to the landfill is often lost on people.
When dealing with the waste management problem in Hong Kong, the government has faced many problems.
And thirdly, and at the same time when we are considering the legal position, the colleagues are also looking into the question of how to deal with waste in Hong Kong, waste management in Hong Kong in a very comprehensive manner. And after doing the comprehensive study and analysis, we have come to the view that we don't have to, at this stage, proceed with the 5 hectares.
Most people in Hong Kong aren't aware of where this waste is going, and little do they know, more of Hong Kong is being destroyed just to find a place to keep the mass amounts of waste produced. Hong Kong has been in the process of planning for an expansion of the current landfill in Clearwater Bay. but due to pressure from the local fishermen not wanting to give up their land, the 15-acre expansion was shut down at legislation. For this reason, a new idea was proposed in the SCMP just last week, the use of a small island off the coast of Lantau. This island is home to around 50 people, making it less of a displacement for workers. The government hopes to get this area approved.
All right, well, one of the things I do is I bring, iced tea from home, although I have to say, I still buy things that are sold in a plastic bottle, but I do recycle them. But, bring your own drink container. And my lunch is in a little bag that I can wash or use again and again with containers inside of it. And utensils, and I use a cloth napkin so I can take that home and launder it and use it over again. So I'm not adding to the load of solid waste. Some people might argue that I'm creating or using just as much energy because I have to wash my dishes. But I would argue that, I feel better about myself, like I'm doing something positive for our Earth, and our Earth is in a state of stress, and solid waste is one of the big things.